Joining us today are New Jersey power pop four-piece Pollyanna. They released their latest EP, Coat Deluxe, back in November and signed to I Surrender Records. They have taken over the New Jersey scene and quick on the rise. Please welcome Pollyanna.
Thank you.
Just to get things started, what was the first thing you guys listened to today?
Oh my God. I put on the new Illuminati Hottie song. I don't know if it's a new song or if it's like just their new single, but it's Sandwich Sharer.
I was going to send you the artwork. I have a song stuck in my head that I was singing. It was Good Day by
Nice.
Anybody else?
The first thing I listened to, I got in my car and the album Fantastic Planet by Failure was playing. But then I turned it off and put on New Deaf Heaven because I needed to hear New Deaf Heaven for the 9,000th time because it's brilliant.
Absolutely.
I have actually only jams our music to just, jam some of the new stuff that we are going to have out later.
You listen to the album then?
Yeah, just and
Were you working on your vocals?
Oh, no.
Then I don't think we're allowed to say the names of our album that's unreleased.
They don't know what's going on.
I can cut it. I can easily cut it out. Don't worry.
Just bleep it.
Because I was also
like,
practicing my vocals, but I didn't want to say that.
Just spoil the whole thing right now.
we had a
We'll do the
practice
whole
last
record
night.
a cappella right now.
Yeah,
Heck
right.
yeah.
So last night we had our first vocal practice, which we never do. So instead of having like our regular practices, which is what we always do, we decided to like focus on harmonies and like we got really more into that. So we and that was the first time. So we all like learned our parts for like all the different vocal like harmonies and stuff like that. So everybody, we're all of us, me last night, all of us have been like practicing harmonies for the album. So.
Just super fresh in your head. I
kind of feel like a boy band now.
An interesting take. I'd love to hear the next record, just all boy band style. A request, please. So for you guys, what was it like growing up? What was the music you listened to growing up in your household versus like what you listened to as like your first self, I guess, like discovering music alone rather than what you listened to in the house?
I think you should go first.
Yeah, growing up, I used to listen to. My cousin played me a lot of Green Day, and so that's where I started listening to music like that. I got into Nirvana, and then heavier stuff like God, System of a Down.
Nice.
And a lot of 90s hip hop.
Yeah.
I don't know. I had so many phases of listening to music when growing up. Like I have so many versions of me like having to. So like you know what I mean. Like I feel like I didn't get into like real like rock music until like I started or like rock music that I liked until I started playing guitar, which was I was like in seventh grade. But when I was 3 years old, my dad showed me Nine Inch Nails, and I like was like Inch Nails. Like I love like my favorite band. But I did listen to a lot of Miley Cyrus growing up and a lot of Disney rock stars. And it's always been Paramore for me. I grew up listening to a lot of Paramore. And like Gwen Stefani and like No Doubt. And then like a lot of like teen bands when I loved Veil and bands like that when I was in the grade. So, I had a lot of phases with listening to music.
That's the best though, because it's like you can pull from anything at this point.
Yeah. No, there's just so many different artists that I really love that are so different from each other. And even now,
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
My musical upbringing is pretty hilarious. So my house was pretty musical, and my dad was like a record collector. So right from the beginning, I was exposed to like a lot of 70s hard rock but like a lot of weird stuff too. Like you would be playing Frank Zappa around me when I was little, and a lot of heavy stuff. Like I got into like a lot of like 80s thrash and hardcore. So like I grew up listening to that, and then rebelled by listening to like Death Cab for Cutie and Radiohead. Like
Solid,
I
yeah.
went backwards.
Yeah, it's a funny rebellion.
And then like in high school, like my own stuff, I was like getting really into like chill wave. Like remember when that thing happened? Like when everything was just like keyboards and synths covered in reverb. I got really into that. Shoegaze, a lot of psychedelic stuff.
Hell yeah.
I guess for me, growing up, I had a lot of different musical influences in my households. Like my mother, I remember when I was a kid, she would always be jamming the Scissor Sisters and other late '80s, '90s hits and stuff. Um, Also, her and my sister, my mother and my sister also loved jamming just what was ever on the radio. So a lot of pop influences and stuff. And on my from my father, he liked a lot of like classic rock and stuff. Like like some of his favorite bands that I remember him spinning a lot was like bands like Kiss and Cactus and well, he also loved Led Zeppelin, of course. So a lot of different stuff. And then I started delving into my own kind of taste in music, looking up and following in my older siblings' footsteps. They were in a band, and I remember they gave me an iPod one day of all their old mixes. I must have been like sixth or seventh grade, 13, 14 years old. And I got an MP3 player an iPod with a bunch of like different bands like Alexis on Fire, Transit, and Man Overboard. That's like kind of where I started to veer off into more like pop punk and stuff. But a bunch of different bands, Enter Shikari, whatnot. So a lot of different influences in my house. Everyone definitely likes music, and it all played a role into the kind of stuff I like and do today.
Heck yeah. And I think that like that's such an interesting thing to like almost study. Because like you can hear a lot of that in like what you guys do and like from the various pieces of everything, which I think is super awesome and amazing. So what was the romantic tale that brought you guys all together to make music? What was that romantic tale?
Um, like brought us together, like joining, or like brought us together.
As a band and also just together, I guess like
So
I say romantic in just like a cheesy way.
it's
This band is definitely romantic.
Okay.
yeah,
Pollyanna
To
the
clarify.
phenomenon.
We're cheesy.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Tickle Rubbers.
The Hallmark movie.
We all when we when we're on the road, we all give each other little tickle rubbies. That's how close we are.
I love that for all of you.
Yeah, we're definitely a lovey dovey.
yeah. All I was saying is, Jill and I have been jamming for a long time. Brendan came through later on, and then so did Jack. You know,
Yeah, I think to sum it all up, me and Dan have been on our path, and we went through millions of different band members, and we just could never find the two people, like the two candidates that like had the same exact vision and had the same dream as us. And we weren't even at that point. We just kind of gave up on like thinking of that other. Dan, what is that?
pine nuts.
Great.
Nice.
No,
Nice.
over my spot.
Why is it in a pineapple?
Because pine.
Okay.
I like the logic.
But we gave up on like thinking that there could be two other bandmates that like could be with us like for real, and we were really just looking for touring members because at that point we were getting tours. We were like about 18 at that point, and we met Brandon and we just needed him to tour with us, and then like we were just like, wow, like he's one of us, and like it just was so natural. And after the second tour, that's when he joined, and then that was in like late 2019, and then we met Jack just from playing shows with his other band, and we also just he asked us if we needed an extra guitarist, and we're like, sure, go ahead. And then it turned into literally just having the same vision. And I think we all knew, especially like in the beginning of 2021, like, okay, this is the lineup, this is who it is. And like it really was, I feel like we weren't like bonded but until like we started writing this record together because we started going on like little band vacations that we had never done before, and it really just brought us together like as more of like a family rather than just bandmates and friends. Like it feels so much deeper than just friends and bandmates because like we all like go on vacations and we like I feel like we not only write together like with the new album that we've been trying not to spill the beans about, but we have experienced it together, you know, and it's like an experience that we all share and like will cherish forever, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. And I think that, like, especially, like, you really to the point of, like, finding the right people. I feel like, people can come along as long as they want and just play guitar, but it's not going to be the person that, like, is the match for the vibe. I hate saying the word vibe because it's such, like, a term now. So you guys are from New Jersey, which is an interesting place for music. I am not super familiar with the scene in Jersey, nor do I know where specifically in Jersey, because Jersey is like an interesting place. From what I understand, if you're on like the shore, it's one thing, and then if you're not, it's like a whole other thing. So where you guys are from, how was the music scene?
Well, we're actually kind of all from different parts. Like I'm from like North Jersey. I live like half hour west of New York City, and like the music scene by me is good. The main scene, I guess, would be like Asbury Park, which is kind of down the shore, which is like half hour south from New Brunswick, which is also a scene. But yeah, Asbury.
Yeah, like I don't know. I feel like New Jersey is broken up into like so many different scenes because like there's like the North Jersey scene, then there's like the less North Jersey scene, which is like the Elizabeth Linden scene, which is a scene. Then there's the New Brunswick scene, which is also a little bit
It's all
north.
the same thing. It's just like there's so many different like genres and like groups of people that come together, but the music scene in New Jersey is extremely dense. There's a lot going on all the time. Like Brendan and Jill said, there's different locations and stuff, different hot spots. But yeah, it's pumping.
Yeah, and a lot of different genres too. Like our kind of power pop rock thing is like there's a lot of bands like that. There's a lot of like punk bands like America Part 2 and there's like metal bands like Monument of a Memory and then like weird technical bands like Antirlos and there's just a lot of stuff going on in New Jersey right now. Like Save Face.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people.
Yeah.
So when it comes to like the sound that you guys developed, like, well, first of all, how old are you guys? Like, what age range?
I'm 27.
I'm 22.
I'm 21.
Okay, yeah. So like,
I was 24, 3,
Yeah,
4.
that's somewhere in the middle.
so the age range, like, of I guess like, so I'm 20. I'll be 25 this month. So like, I'll just say I'm 25. So like,
Aquarius.
Pisces.
Yeah.
Watch me cry in a minute. But I think that like age range is like really interesting right now to like look at between I would say like
Jack said he's 24.
like 18 to like 24 interesting is because like I'll say we grew up on like State Champs, who I'll talk about in a second. State Champs, A Day to Remember, like all these bands, and like seeing how like personally like you guys sound and like the evolution of that, of like your influences that were like my influences too, and it's like hearing music from that specifically is just like really awesome. And thinking about like the Jersey scene, like how did that scene impact your sound? Did you guys like kind of just find the groove within the scene, or was it kind of just like you found your sound, then found the groove?
It was definitely a little combination of both. I mean, Jill and I have been developing the sound of the band for a long time. It's always, kind of ebb and flowed. But once Brandon and Jack joined the band, for sure, like we all have different musical influences that inspire us daily. So, like the record Coat Deluxe, that started out just Jill and I, but like halfway through the recording process was very sporadic, like different dates, different months and stuff, and like it
like there's 2 songs where Jack's
more of us our influences, but the newer stuff that we have coming out, it's definitely more like it's definitely got a lot
equally the four of
like
us.
it's more of a vibe for sure. We'll use that word, but
There's a
it's
word.
got a lot of different elements coming together at play that Sugarcoat Deluxe does not have, and that's because the newer record is definitely more true to the four of us as opposed to Sugarcoat Deluxe. If that answers the question.
Yeah. And I do want to say that that record is so like mature sounding, and when I did like the first full listen through of it, I was just so impressed, to be completely honest. I was like, this sounds so good, and like it's like very impressive, and like just I don't know. I love seeing like musicians that are like my age now, because it's like it's like not that it's like not like it's more relatable, but it's just like these are my people. Like they're
Yeah,
making music, and like that just like makes me really happy, because I grew up listening to like as a 16-year-old like 27, 28-year-old men being angry,
right.
so it's just like nice to have like peers play and like listen and put out such good stuff, and like your sound is just like very unique, and I just really appreciate it a lot, and the end of 2021 for you guys was kind of crazy. I'm sure from your point of view, but also like just from like like somebody watching,
Yeah.
not in a creepy way.
Okay.
So you guys ended with like a little tour with Late Waves, and then ended up playing State Champs Frozen Fest with State Champs, obviously, Young Culture, and Origami Angel. Can you just talk about like the last couple of months? Oh, and then the record. Can you just talk about the last couple of months of 2021 and how that was for you guys?
It was so hectic. It was definitely crazy because like 2021, like I think for everybody, it was such a long year because like January 2021 there was no shows, and honestly there was like no sign of shows. Like literally like our biggest accomplishment was like, oh shit, we got a college show. We're being paid for a lot. Yeah. Jack, you interrupted. It's okay.
No shows.
Yeah,
We
so
wrote a
like
song.
things were just so different. Like we were like it was just so slow, and like especially 2020 for us because that was just like it was purely just us hanging out and us writing. And there was no sign of like what was going to happen. Like there was no business involved. And we were just spending so much time on the writing and the creative process. And I think the end of 2021 was like, oh shit, we're actually starting to see it like start to play out and pay off. Like we're actually starting to see things go into motion, and things are starting to get really real. I think things started to get crazy for us, like in a way that like we had never seen it before. Starting on October 15th, because that was our Brooklyn show, and we had a few just really, I guess, like we had like real industry people show up to the show, and it was just so much more packed than I thought it was going to be. And we just started really seeing like every single like the difference between before like before the pandemic, like playing shows, like we would play so many half empty shows, half filled shows, and now it was just every show was just like, wow, this is crazy, like this is
And then we went on tour.
yeah. And then we went on tour. We were very humbled, which is great, but we had a great time. But it just started, it got really hectic. We were planning the tour. We had recorded the album. Yeah, I guess that's where you can pinpoint the wow, things are starting to go into motion, because we recorded the album, and that took 3 weeks.
I mean,
And
Bill, I feel like you glossed over one of the biggest things from early 2021, which was label, shopping, and then in contact with Rob Hitt from I Surrender Record, and then literally being able to make the dream come true of booking studio time, like professional studio time for our first full record, which we did in September.
Yeah, so no, that was there was a lot of big things that happened, but it really didn't feel like anything was happening until the very end, because it was like everything was just like so quiet. We couldn't, you know what I mean? Like we couldn't really talk too much about it until things started to get released. So I think we started to really see like the hard work pay off, especially because like everything just started happening so fast. Like we put our songs out, like we had put the re-release out, and then we went on tour, and it was our favorite tour, not because of the shows were like packed every single night, especially because it was like, like cases with COVID started to go up in December, and like right when we were on tour, we were like starting to see it, which sucked. But also it was, the shows were empty, which is relatively a good thing.
Some of
And I think like we realized how great of a time like all of us have together on tour, and we just wanted to do more as soon as it was over. And then once we had started working with Brad from Sequel, we got the offer. That was the first show offer we got from being on Sequel, and that literally I think 3 days in advance we got that show offer to open for State Champs, which is crazy because Dan and I were basically doing covers of them when we were 15 and starting the band. So it was just so crazy of a thing that happened, and it happened so fast because like we were just so happy to be playing the shows that we were, even though they were so small. And all of a sudden that opportunity it was just like right in front of our face. And it was just so crazy going from that to a huge festival that we've never had that experience in our lives. Like it was the greatest show we've ever played. And that was the last show that we played since. So it was a lot happening at once, and it was really, really, really awesome. And even though that like besides playing the biggest show of our life, like it was just such a great experience because I feel like we really got the dynamic down of like touring, and like we just were able to all have just such good energy with each other, which I think we all like recognized, which like being different than all the other tours,
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Does anybody else want to add to that about the end of 2021?
It was crazy, like just playing that show, getting the offer when it was like Jill said, like 3 days in advance, and we had to kind of scramble to reroute our touring plans. We drove from like Long Island to Pittsburgh to Albany, so it was just a crazy couple days. And then we ended the tour, playing the State Champ show, and they're all like such nice people. Ryan. Yeah, it was a really good time.
Heck yeah. And I'm very elated to see you guys on that lineup. When I saw the announcement, I was like, hey, I'm not going, but I want to.
Well, you gotta come see us whenever we play in Maryland next.
Well, I was gonna come to the December one, but I got a little spooked because of COVID, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
I think it was like at the Pocket, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
So kind of thinking about COVID while we're kind of talking about it, did that kind of change the way that you guys wanted to approach like release cycles and like writing processes, or did it make you take a step back and slow down, speed up? Like what was that for you guys?
Are you talking about like COVID in general?
Yeah, kind of like the isolation portion, probably. Let's just say 2020 as a whole.
So we actually had 2 full months back to back, April, May, of touring lined up of 2020. One was with the band The Second After, and then another one with this also really cool band, the Cannibal Kids. And probably like a couple weeks before those tours started, like everything got shut down, so we had to cancel, postpone everything. We were just gearing up for the release of Sugarcoat as well, I believe, right, Jill? Is that correct?
Yeah, and it all ended up getting stepped back because we couldn't do any music videos.
Yeah.
We couldn't do,
So it was definitely a huge dent. But with that downside, it also gave at the time Jill, Brandon, and I a lot of time to reflect and everything, and we actually took time. The 3 of us, we went out to a cabin in Maine, and we actually got away from all the mess, also kind of the isolation. Like we were all been isolated, so we just decided, the 3 of us, to get up and isolate ourselves together. And from that, we burst the concept for our new record. So while yes, at first all of the COVID was a very catastrophic, it also kind of opened up a path, if you will,
Yeah, definitely. I think it brought us, I really do think that like it did make us slow down because we were always so tour focused. Like we were always just so focused on the next tour. And we didn't have that to look forward to. And I feel like part of me was actually really happy because I was able to focus really on writing and like really on like the art in a way that I never had before. And I really just feel like it got us so much closer as friends, and we were able to slow down and take a step back and not worry about the business so much. You know what I mean? Like we could have been going crazy making TikToks, but like, you know, some part of me wishes that we did because I had so much time on my hands. But instead, we just like we after that, like in February 2021, we and Jack included, we all went to a cabin during a snowstorm and we wrote the rest of the record and we recorded all the demos, and it was just such a beautiful experience. We did get snowed in and we couldn't leave. But like we had so much time to spend together, and which is why I think like I really don't think if COVID happened, like this record would have been as special as it is, just because like we just never had the time to spend so much time on the record because we were always just so focused chasing after tours. And also I think just a lot of the record, like I feel like during quarantine I wrote a lot of sad songs, which is I wrote Monster and Friend from Coat Deluxe on in quarantine, and for some odd reason during like when we were in lockdown, like I couldn't really write any like aggressive songs. Like it was just sad song after like super acoustic-y sad song after sad song. So we were like, well, we might as well use them, you know, like even though they're a lot different than our normal our normal like, you know, sound, like we might as well release them because they're good songs. And I felt like it was a good place to put like on Coat Deluxe, because it was like we didn't want them on the record because it was like a moment of time for me at least. And the new album is like more so after, and like the aftermath of like just kind of, I feel like the world started becoming more angry and more fiery, and this album definitely shows that like angry fiery side. Yeah.
Hell yeah. And like to clarify, when you're talking about like the album, you're talking about future album, not Coat Deluxe, right?
Yes. When I talk about future album, I will not specify the word that it is.
Okay, we'll just say the album is what it's called. Yeah. I just want to clarify. But thinking about Coat Deluxe, I think it's a beautiful masterpiece. I think I'm a big fan of listening to things in order, so I listen to it in order. And I think that Don't Stay, Don't Go is like the perfect way to open it up. And I think it's just really strong, and I just really enjoyed it. And I'm not gonna say, but there's like zero misses, and just thoroughly enjoyed the entire thing. And I know that this was kind of written and worked on a while ago, but can you kind of talk us through that writing process? What did that look like? This was pre-COVID, right? If I remember, you said that earlier.
Yeah, so the EP was written in fragments. Like the first song that was written, I want to say the oldest song is probably Grown Apart, because Brandon wasn't even in the picture at the time. That was like 2018. And yeah. Dan and I were a two-piece for a really long time after we graduated high school. We graduated in 2018. So for a while, it was just the two of us. And we kind of like, I didn't really like trust anybody else either. Like it was just like, I really just wanted the perfect third member to walk in the door. And I did. But before that, you know, we were like, well, we got to record music. So we recorded with Nick Starr in Long Island, and we recorded just that one song because it was just like, let's just try this one song. We didn't really know what we were doing. Like, we didn't have a plan for the EP. We were just like, let's just record music. Like, let's just record whatever songs we're writing. Let's just fucking record them.
Yeah.
So we recorded Grown Apart, just Dan and I. I did all the guitars. Nick, the producer, played bass. And that it was just, you know, that's how it was. And it was, it came out really well. And then Brandon joined. And then that June, we recorded the three of us, I Promise I'm Lying, and
June.
Good For You. No.
Oh yeah, good. Yeah.
Good For You. And they came out amazing, and it was really, really great. And then we just had those three songs for a while, and we didn't know what we were doing with them. We released I Promise I'm Lying as a single, and and then we released Good For You as a single, and then we're like, oh shit, well, we gotta record more music because I think this is gonna lead to an EP. Then Jack joins. So February 2019, we record two more songs, which is I Don't Know Why and Don't Say. So what, Dan? Oh,
Yeah,
2020, sorry. Not
2020.
2019. Yeah. I was like, yeah. January 2019 is when we recorded Grown Apart. February 2020, this was right before COVID happened.
Yeah.
We recorded I Don't Know Why, and we recorded Don't Stay with the four of us. And it's really interesting because like I wrote those songs like over the few years as I feel like it's a few years of time for me, at least lyrically. It was just like I think a lot of the EP is just about like growing up after high school and like kind of like not knowing who you are in your place, and you don't know how to like really like manage relationships because we were never really taught how to do that, and you're like we were all just like we had no idea how to navigate our own emotions during high school. I don't know, I feel like that's most of us. And so I think that a lot of like the lyrical content for Sugarcoat, at least the first 6 songs, is just about navigating relationships after high school, and kind of being lost and like not knowing like who you are, where you are, and where you're gonna go. I think the ages of like not 18 to 20 is kind of scary because you're like it's such a transition. So I really think that those 6 songs were such a transitional period of time, and I feel like you can tell because I was holding back saying so much while I was also being really honest with my music, and that's why we called it Sugarcoat, you know. And then Never Know was written actually like right once quarantine was lifted. I just did an acoustic song that I had, and it just kind of came together, you know, like it kind of just was like pieced together, and we're like, all right, well, this makes sense. And then once we released it, we still couldn't play shows, which is exactly what we're about. So we were like, we once we signed to with the label, they were like, well, this is a good EP, and you guys are still writing songs, so why don't we just re-release and then focus on the album? And that's what made the most sense to us. So we recorded with our really close friend Mike, Monster and Friend, which I feel like grouped together really nicely because you could tell those were written in, you know, a moment in time, and I feel like the lyrics for those 2 songs are so different than the rest of the record. Like it still has the same element, but it is so different because I wrote it during quarantine and I was in such a different place. Everybody was in such a different place. Yeah. I feel like in their mind during quarantine versus 5 months before that, you know, everything was just so different. And I feel like everybody grew in their own way of being alone by themselves in their room for weeks and months on end. So I feel like those songs kind of show that, and then we decided to be fun and let loose and show our funny side by doing a hyperpop remix because why not, you know? And then we did. I feel like we just like we've done a lot of acoustic covers, and we kind of like, especially because during or when we couldn't play shows, we were doing live streams, and a lot of the live streams was like acoustic stripped down sets. So we decided to do different renditions of Don't Stay and I Don't Know Why, which is our 2 favorites. So we did 2 different versions of those songs, and that thus was born Sugarcoat Deluxe.
It's so interesting that you said like just like it's a piece of time because like in 10 years you can look back at like all of you can look back at it and be like, this is art from this year to this year, and like really recognize that and have those emotions like bottled up in a capsule. And I think that is the best thing about music, even as like listeners, is like, you know, I can listen to something from, I don't know, just State Champs Elevated because that's the most recent thing I'm thinking about, and know exactly what place I am in that head, or like specifically like the Wonder Years Upsides. Like I can like that takes me back to a very specific time as like a listener, let alone as somebody who'd like written the art itself. Absolutely. You know.
Absolutely. That's no, you're 100%. Like I feel like, and so much music nowadays, like it's so nostalgic, and people are really like, with the world changing so fast all the time, like in every single way, like our generation really clings onto nostalgia, I feel like, and that's why like a lot of like 90s music I think is being brought back up because people love nostalgia, you know. And I feel like, again, as like an artist, like it's I wish I free wrote more and wrote more like poetry, like to remember how I was actually feeling like when I was 18 or 19. but all I really have is the music we recorded, and I can listen and be like, wow, I was feeling like this then, and that's crazy, and I don't feel like I don't feel at all like that now. So
Yeah.
it's really cool.
That's really awesome. And so the Don't Stay Don't Go video is super fun. Um, and what was the process of that? Why, like, what was the choosing of that video, and why did you pick that song? So forth and so on.
So it was kind of like, hey, we have this new record that we have to release. We have almost zero content for it. We need to start doing some things.
Yeah.
And like you said, Don't Say Don't Go is, very high energy, a great way to come out swinging on the record. And we hit up our friend Chris Kunachuk, who is right now crushing, killing the game right now, absolutely taking over. But we hit him up, and he directed it, and it was kind of just like, for the video, it was kind of like, the concept was just like, hey, it, Jill, how would you describe the concept for the video? It's kind of like, let's just be us and silly on camera.
Yeah. We wanted to really, like, the two main points for that video. It was also like planned a week before.
Nice. Yeah.
I wanted to make sure we captured the colors of what we were going for. Like, a lot of it was like Sugarcoat, I like to describe as like so ironic. Like, I was writing, like, it's like happy upbeat songs about like sad thing, like, you know what I mean? So like, it was kind of just like the irony and like hating life. That's what a lot of it is about, which is why, again, it's why it's called Sugarcoat. And so like, we wanted to capture our live energy, because we really just feel like we just grew up being a live band, and we just always, playing shows was our number one reason why we always loved being in a band.
Yeah.
And two, capturing like the legitimate like aesthetic of Sugarcoat, which is like quite literally eating candy. So it's just like kind of funny and ironic and playful, because it's like we wanted to do the most literal thing for what we were like aiming at, if that makes any sense.
I ate so much candy that night, it was upsetting me. On the drive home, my stomach hurt so bad. It was
Honestly,
too much.
same. I would have done the exact same thing.
Well, also Brandon had to, because me and Dan are vegan. So like, a lot of the candy that we had wasn't vegan. Like, there was some vegan stuff, but like, when we had the rock candy, he was eating Nerds Rope. I mean, whatever you can think of. Like, he was just.
I spit out a lot of it too, but it was just so much. And I was also drinking.
Yeah.
That helps.
It does help, honestly.
So it was overall a good time.
So if you guys had to describe now you can tell me no and we can do the previous record, but if you had to describe the upcoming record in 3 words, if you're able to tease, what would you say?
Jack would have great answer for this.
No.
Yeah, this is a Jack question.
Yeah. 3 words.
I just texted him in the group chat to say 3 adjectives for how the new record goes. Okay, so let me think.
Loud, angry, catchy.
Okay.
3 of my favorite things.
Jack says loud, gay, and spicy.
Incredible.
Which is it? Yeah.
Dan, do you have your 3 words?
I was gonna say hot, sweaty, and funky.
Ooh.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'll say angry. Oh, that's 2 words. Honest. I could either say fierce or fearless.
Ooh.
Yeah.
These are great words. I'm glad I didn't have to ask myself this question. I'm terrible with adjectives. But you guys did great.
Wow, really? Thank you.
So before we get into the game, I I just want to say that I 100% like you guys are very much a band that I like am very excited to watch grow and evolve and really take over the scene because I really have like such like a inkling for you guys. Like I just there's something like really great about you guys and I really am saying that from the heart. I'm not saying this just because we're on the phone call. Like I really would say this if I ever met you guys in person and I am very, very eager to watch you guys grow and flourish.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you so much. That means a lot. I appreciate that.
Of
We got to
course.
send you the record.
I don't think I'm prepared for all of that. The fierce, funky, and fearless. If that's not the record name, I want a refund. No, I'm kidding.
All of that in combination. The word of this album is perfect for it. Just trust us.
I'm ready. So do you guys want to play a game called Quick Pick where I make you quick pick a song with a specific scenario? You just tell me the first song that comes to your head.
Yeah,
Great.
Jack, if you can hear us, text us.
Yeah, Jack, feel free to text in the hotline.
Call in.
So the first one is you are teleported back to 1920, and similar to what happened in Back to the Future, you have the opportunity to play something for a crowd of people in 1920. Choose what you will for their reaction, but what song would you play? I'm thinking Blackout by Turnstile because I would want to scare them.
Bad and Bougie by Migos.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Blackout by Turnstile is a great one. That's great.
Really just spook them. I'll be thrown on like a hex or something.
I would
Burn
do
me.
Territorial Pissings by Nirvana.
Jack
Nice.
said any Cannibal Corpse song just to traumatize them.
That's a good one too.
I don't know what I would pick. I'd probably pick some like punk song.
Maybe I would do Hyperpop. That would really scare him.
Oh my god, yeah.
This is the devil's music.
Yeah.
Or like any like Ash Nico.
Yes. Yes. Or a Rico Nasty
No,
song.
I'd play Bjork.
Ooh.
That's a good one.
Those are good. Those are such good ones. The second
Lady
one.
Gaga. Sorry.
Oh, Lady Gaga, yeah. Just like literally anything to cause chaos in 1920.
I feel like 2000s would be great.
Oh my god, yeah. Nelly.
Great stuff. Limp Bizkit.
So the second one, you are trapped in an elevator, and the person you're in an elevator with, their ringtone just like won't stop going off. For some odd reason, they just won't turn it off. And the song is your personal hell. What song would that be? I love this song, but if I heard it a million times, it would be Levitating by Dua Lipa.
I know what Dan's would be.
Oh, what's the name of that song that Vic?
Psycho.
Psycho.
Oh, she's sweet but a psycho.
Oh my god, yeah. Ava Max.
Who's that? By?
Yes.
Yeah.
Even that.
Max Scott. Yeah. It's a good song. Just when you're in a van for weeks with your friends, and it's the only sentence that gets said 12 times a minute.
Jack says that Ween song.
Oh,
You know Ween?
I do not know Ween.
It's the end of the SpongeBob movie. Ocean Man, Ocean
Oh
Man.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what song?
Oh my god.
I just heard it today and I hated it. And I feel bad saying that because it's literally a child, but it's Twang by Mason Ramsey. You know who that is?
Yeah. He's the Walmart yodel boy.
Yeah, the Walmart. You
Gordon
heard that?
Ramsay's son.
No.
Oh.
Wow. These are personal hells and
mine?
loading.
I don't know what mine would be. Oh, I don't know. You guys have played some shit that I absolutely hate.
This Is It Cheap by Lil Tracy.
Yeah, that I'd probably die. Yeah.
So the last one is you are on the car on the way home from a date, and you have the person in the car with you, and the date went terribly. You have the aux. You have to pick the song to cut the silence. What song are you picking? I'm gonna go easily because I've been really like Coin is like one of my favorite bands, so I just pick some good Coin that just like zaps me up, and they just put out a song called "That I'm Not Cutie Clementine." It's something that's an orange on the cover. That's the song.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Like, did the date go like so bad that you're not talking? Like, you just like you bombed the date and now you have aux privilege, or like Like, is that what's going down?
Let's just say there was an argument, like things just went awry, completely awry.
Okay.
The problem with this question is that I have literally experienced exactly the scenario that you're describing. And what I did when I drove this person back to Point Pleasant when I was 17 was complete silence.
Miserable.
Like, not one sound. Like a 35-minute car ride at 2 a.m.
God.
with nothing playing.
Respect.
And no words spoken.
Respect. The utmost respect. I think my anxiety is too high for that.
Yeah, right. I was just so tired. Jack
Fair.
said Tiny Vessels by Death Cab for Cutie.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
But maybe I would play like Paramore or something because like that's my favorite band and like I could just like play them without skipping anything, you know? I would play something I can't skip.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd probably play like I know this game is you're supposed to pick a song, but I can't think of any songs that are specific. I would just play like something by like Primus or System of a Down because I'm not trying to impress you anymore. This is who I am.
Right. Right. This is just for me at this point. That's like one of my favorite ones to ask because I think that the question, like the answers can go like so outlandish. Like sometimes I'll say WAP, like just cause chaos.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you guys for playing. I have one final question for you guys. Musicians have the ability and the platform to leave marks on the world in various ways, either smaller or larger. What is the mark that you guys want to make as a band?
Like what's the message we want to send to people?
Message, mark, whatever that looks like for you guys.
I want to be a band and make music that like it can make people feel like less alone. Like, you know what I mean? It can make people feel like, oh, like these are things that I'm like too afraid to like explain to a therapist because I feel like the therapist would be like, you know, because like I've always struggled telling people things, but I've never lied in my music. Like I've never said a lie in my I've never been able to lie in my music. So I hope that like our music is able to get people to feel differently about themselves in a way of like learning something and learning that they don't feel that way, like, because I know other people feel the same way as me, you know what I mean? I think I'm specifically thinking about like our new record, especially because I sing about a lot of things that I've never sung about before. But I think I want to be the band that like specifically like message is just like, I don't know, like do shit to make your parents mad. Like stop trying to please your parents. Like grow out your leg hair. I don't know. Get a tattoo when your parents
Jill,
say,
to be authentic, you know, to yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Because that's like really what being in this band has taught me, and like I've just stopped caring about like I've had to really, really like try so hard, and music and being in a band has gotten me this far of like stop caring about what other people think and stop caring so much about your ego and learn how to shut that off. Because like I don't know, life's just too short, you know, and I know this is like so simple, but I guess that's like what I want at the end of the day, you know?
Hell yeah. Did you guys want to add anything to that?
Jack says, all he wants to leave is a black eye with a little smooch to make it feel better. Get it? What, Mark? I'm funny.
That's incredible. That's yeah. Well, if you guys don't have anything else to add, I just want to say thank you for coming and hanging out. If you guys want to plug anything, I know that things have been plugged without saying that they are coming. But if there's anything you want to specifically plug in the next couple months or anything.
We will be playing shows this year. We will be playing a lot of them, and we will be coming to your city whenever it is. But
actually, not your city.
Not yours specifically.
God damn it.
Maybe. We don't know yet. But we do know that we are going to be playing a lot of places that we've never played before. Hopefully I can say that. And we are going to be releasing a record that's so much different than anything we've ever released. And the content is crazy, in my opinion. And that's going to be way sooner than the shows. So.
Heck
Jack
yeah.
also
Yeah.
Jack also wants to apologize for the technical difficulties. He had a fun time, and he hopes he wasn't too difficult.
No, it was great, Jack. I'm sorry that you had the technical difficulties. Still keep the record because I think the beginning is still recorded. So just hang tight until you get that 100% on your end too. Jack, Dan, Jill, Brandon, thank you guys for hanging out. It's been so much fun.
Thank you so much for
Thank
having
you.
us. We really, really appreciate you.